Welcome to the Movie Loft's first Halloween Spooktacular. My name is Tyler, this is Madison. So we're gonna go over the movies that we've watched and rank them with our own special
scale.
With our own special scale, from best to worst, 5 being the best, 1 being don't watch it. Okay, so at number 1 would be A Nightmare. Do not watch. Number 2 is Boo. And number 3 is Trick or Treat, because it's half and half.
Because there are some tricks and some treats, so you might like it or hate it.
Number 4 we have Spooktastic. And number 5 we have An Absolute Scream. We're going to talk about some things we did like, some things we don't like, whether or not it's rewatchable for Halloween season, and then we will give our rating. Okay, so number 1 is... What do I do for this one? Oh, come on! It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
It's good.
Okay, you give it a try.
How does she say it?
I think the boy says it. It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
No, she says it.
The girl?
The head witch.
No,
That
he
Midland's
says it.
character.
It's just a bunch of hocus pocus!
Oh, come on, it's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
Fine, alright. Hocus Pocus, in case you've never seen it, is about...
Salem, Massachusetts, back in the 1600s and modern day, which was the 90s when it was made. First you see the Sanderson witches.
So they take children and then consume their, like, energy or, like, their
In order to
spirit.
stay young.
Yeah, in order to stay young.
Well, younger.
Which is, like, a very classic witch thing to do.
And the parents come with a whole angry mob and the town decides to hang them for
Oh,
witchcraft.
yeah.
And then that's when they decide to put a curse and a prophecy that one day a virgin will light the black flame candle
then
and
return.
resurrect them.
We shall be back, and the lives of all the children shall be mine!
They come into present day, and then the kids who end up releasing them have to, like, figure out how to send them back. So, things we like. So
Everything about it.
yeah, there's a reason why it's like
Halloween
a classic. Yeah. So I like the setting in Salem, which we're gonna go there.
And the fact that it's set back in
Oh yeah, that it
the
starts.
1600s.
Yeah, that I completely forgot. So I saw it a long time ago when I was a child, and it scared me because of the guy that comes out of the ground.
Was I scared by this movie when I was younger? I don't think I was. I think
Well, I was scared of a lot more things. I was scared of, like, Jumanji and pretty much everything.
right.
Oh, so I like when they are detailed enough because these witches have been, like, gone for so long, and then they come out and the first thing they see is the road and they're like, a black river, and then they don't want to touch it. And I thought that was, like, really clever and interesting because, like, well, it's not exactly what they would have acted like, but, like, they at least thought to be like, they've never seen this before, so they should react to it. I like how the story isn't surface level, like, I don't want to shit on Halloween Town, but like Halloween Town, whereas, like, you know exactly who the bad guy is, you know exactly how it's gonna end. Like, it's a longer movie, and I think it really took me by surprise because when they went to the school and then they, like, burnt them alive, which was really dark, I thought it was over, and I didn't realize there was going to be more after that.
It still feels like as an adult
Yeah.
you should be watching. They're literally talking about sucking the life out of children.
Yeah.
And yet I feel like my niece could watch this.
But it's all, yeah, and it's goofy because, like, the fact that they're going around and she, like, smells the children but can't find them because they're all, like, dressed up in costumes, and she kept calling them, like, little ghouls or something. All right, what are some things you like?
I like the actors, Bette Midler. What are the other actresses?
Sarah Jessica Parker. I don't
the
know
girl who
other.
plays
The one
Danny.
who's always like this.
All of the Sanderson sisters, really love them. I love the costume design. I love the set design. Like, for its time, it had pretty good, like, graphics. And
Oh yeah, the
editing.
special effects. Yeah, like the cat. and like his facial expressions were really good, and then or still hold up now. And Doug Jones as Billy Butcherson, and I saw it in the credits, and I got excited because now I know him from like The Shape of Water and Pan's Labyrinth and stuff like that, so that was really cool. I think the 90s factor actually like held up now. Like they didn't have a lot of 90s other than like hairstyle and clothes. Like it wasn't like
Dated.
yeah, like they didn't use a lot of music or like things like that were relevant back then. All right, we've been talking way too much about what we like about it. So things that we dislike. I don't really know if the bullies like led to anything. Like, did they really add anything to the story, or was it just kind of they were there?
I think they helped move the story along and show how Max is having a hard time here and doesn't have really a lot of reasons to like Salem, and he doesn't really fit
makes
in.
Sense. Well, yeah, but I think they were a little over the top. Like compared to everyone else who was like Bette Midler's like over the top, but like she's so like in character and like goofy, and they're just like, hey, scumbag, like
It's
it was a little
ice
too
now.
much.
And
Yeah.
then he turns around and shows him his
Yeah,
shaved
it's just like
head.
ridiculous. So I think that could have been like cut out or something. But
Is that an issue you think you have with the actors or an issue with the writing?
well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it could have been just the actors, but I think overall, just like it wasn't that necessary.
Yeah.
That's about all I can think about that I dislike about it.
Wow.
Yeah, like I was expecting to not like it that much because I had rewatched Halloween Town and I loved those movies. I watched all of them in one day when I was younger, and then I tried to come back to them a few years ago and they just didn't hold up. I was like, oh man. As an adult, this is a completely different experience. But this movie, I enjoyed it way more as an adult than I did as a kid because it just scared me as a kid. But I think it's definitely worth rewatching for Halloween, and I think it deserves its place on the Halloween classics. Okay, so our rating. Well, I think it's a 5 out of 5. Absolute scream.
I agree.
Okay, so next is... You do it.
Practical magic. There's probably so many people who don't know what this movie is.
I literally had never heard of it until now.
It came out in 1998, but to me, in my heart, it's a Halloween classic. It's about witches. It's about this family of witches and these two sisters. It has an all-star cast of Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, Stockard Channing, Diane Wiest. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but yeah.
Evan Rachel Wood as a child, and the girl that dated Joe Jonas.
Camilla Bell.
Yeah. What are some things that you like about it?
Well, I like that it has to do with witches. I like that it pays homage to like the modern day Wicca practices. That has a lot to do with like herbs and medicinal purposes.
Wait, so go back. Okay, so these two girls believe that there's a curse.
Admit that any man who gets involved with an Owens woman is bound to end up 6 feet under.
That has to do with like their great ancestor from Salem times who was hung by the town, and she put this curse on her and her descendants that they would never fall in love.
Why would she do that? Why would she curse her own family?
Well,
now that I'm thinking about it.
I don't want to spoil it for you, but she's like exiled by the town and left alone pregnant, and she's like, I never want anyone to deal with this pain the way I have had. So she just like
So
doesn't...
she wants to murder their loved ones so then they can never have
I don't know,
happiness?
man.
There's a lot of things that don't make sense to me in this movie.
Yeah, and watching it again now, I can see a lot of its flaws, but I think it can pull at your heartstrings with the whole sister factor and family and having this like bond with your sister and your family.
And like Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock are like really great actresses, so that also helps because like even when it was cheesy, like they were able to make it relatable. What are some things I like about it? I like Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. I think it was like a good watch for Halloween. for sure. But there was just, I had so many questions about what was going on and like why they decided to do certain things. So I liked moments of it, but then like it was sort of clouded with like other things that were kind of bothering me. And they weren't like terrible things. It's not like they ruined the movie for me, and I would still like probably watch it again. It was just kind of like little nitpicks that I was just like, why? And anyway, so let's get into those, I guess. Unless you have some more things you want to say that you like about it.
I have a feeling they'll come to me as you talk about things you didn't like about
Okay, good idea. So some things that didn't make sense to me are, one, the tone. Like, the tone was just all over the place. Like, it starts off and the ants, like, cast a spell on her to fall in love with this guy, and then he ends up dying because, you know, the curse. It was just, like, up and down and up and down. And
Very
first
90s.
of all, so 90s, like, not like Hocus Pocus where they kind of didn't include so many, like,
Princes.
yeah, to the time period that they were currently in. But this movie, like, went full on, just, like, 90s everything.
dated. A lot of the music, the editing, the special effects
Yeah.
was all very 90s.
And the music was composed by Alan Silvestri from Avengers and, like, all these other epic scores. I don't remember a single thing other than just, like, some kooky little, like, like little
yeah.
goofy things. Nicole Kidman ends up falling for this guy who's like an actual psychopath, and he's like abusive, and turns out he murdered someone.
He's dangerous.
He's way more than like, ooh, sexy dangerous. He's like actually psycho. And it just didn't make sense to me how they handled that character. It was like, it was no big deal. It was like, meh, you know, this is just kind of silly, goofy things happening, but really it's like really dark and depressing. Like, this guy was abusing her and she literally had to drug him in order to like stay safe. And then, without going into spoilers, things occur and then they're trying to like fix issues, but then throughout the rest of the movie, like, even when he comes back around, it's still like not very impactful. It's just sort of like he's there and then he's gone again. And it's like, oh, okay, well that was...
Are you talking about the end of the movie?
Yeah.
When he's gone again?
Mm-hmm. And then he comes back.
Oh. I feel like you should just say what you're talking
Okay,
about.
well he
because
comes
you're being
back as
very-
like a demon or like a ghost or something and tries to kill them again. And it was just kind of playing like this very like whimsical music while he's like walking around.
Rewatching the scene, I realized there is ominous music playing. However, with a very light tone established throughout the rest of the movie, including his previous scenes, it makes the scene less impactful because it really never built up to the moment where he reappears. It just sort of happens, and now it's supposed to be scary.
But also
Because-
just like the subject matter. It was like the subject matter was really dark, but they just sort of like
They were definitely trying
glossed
to
over
find,
some serious issues.
They were definitely trying to find an audience that they could play to that would enjoy the darkness
Yes.
of it, but also like not take it too seriously.
Yeah, and like when they finally banish him, it's super cheesy. All
I
the
get
women
chills
come
just
back
thinking about it.
and they're like have their brooms together and they're like working together, and I don't know.
It's sweet
I think I'm just a
because
hater.
the town, I think you are too, the town has like hated this family
Yeah.
for generations, and finally like these women come who have bullied them their entire lives, they finally come and like see what they're about. And
But like overly enthusiastically, like, let's go do it. It's
Well-
like slow motion. They're all like, oh my god, she called. Guess what? She is a witch. And it's like,
I don't really remember it like that, but if that was your interpretation, then.
that is exactly what happened. Anyway, do you have anything you dislike?
The special effects, the CGI, and yeah, watching it back, the music and some of the editing is just a little choppy. But I like the story and I like the actresses.
Okay. Well, okay, so I definitely did enjoy watching it. I didn't like dislike it. There are a lot of movies where I would have had these same issues and been like, that was a terrible movie. But this movie, for some reason, I was still like into it and I enjoyed it. And afterwards, I was like, I would watch it again for Halloween. So rewatchability, you'll definitely watch it for Halloween. It's a Halloween classic for you. Okay.
Wow. It's a Halloween classic in my heart because I'm nostalgic and that makes me biased.
Yeah.
But I feel like for the common person, it would definitely be like a Trick or Treat, like number 3
True.
rating on, in my opinion, because some people might really hate it for the fact that it's dated, and some people might really like it and think it's really cute.
Yeah, I can definitely see that as like a pull factor as being dated. Like people want to see something with that sort of like
Vibe.
that era. Yeah, like it's a very
Aesthetic.
specific. So yeah, for me it's definitely a Trick or Treat. Number 3, very average. What do you give it?
I give it a 3, like I said.
What?
I
You
said that.
personally, what do you think?
I said it's a 5 in my heart.
Okay,
but when
so
I'm
you
thinking
give it
with
an
my
absolute
brain,
scream.
I'm giving it a 3. I said I was giving it a 3.
Okay. All right. Okay, moving on. Okay, so next is
Coraline.
okay. Good. All right, so this movie I did watch a while ago. I didn't really remember it. And I've always been a big Tim Burton fan since I was younger. Like, I liked this sort of weird, very creepy, very gothic tones and like settings that he goes for. Like,
Not that he had anything to do with this movie at all.
he didn't make this movie?
No, it was directed by Henry Selick. Screenplay also by Henry Selick.
Bro, what?
It's very Tim Burton-esque.
Oh
but
my
nothing-
god. Did he have any, was he a producer? I'm pretty sure they like sold it as like Tim Burton. Okay, well anyway, so I like Tim Burton's vibe, and this director really like had that same thing going for it. I also like the stop motion animation of it. It was really good, and whenever I see things like that, I just think of like how long it must have taken to film that, and then I also kind of question how they got like certain camera movements and stuff, because you know that they have to do like frame by frame of each thing, but they also have like these swooping like camera motions, like coming in real close to characters and then pulling away, and it's like, how did they do that when they can't move? Like they would have to do it like frame by frame, move it back, and I have no idea, but it just blows my mind how they're able to pull that off and make it look realistic.
You have a couple fuzzes. I just can't.
Thank you.
Okay.
I also really like the story and the tone. It was very creepy, and I like when children's movies aren't afraid to show creepy imagery and to kind of go out there, because there's some really like disturbing images in this movie. Oh, I like Elle Fanning as, or is it Elle Fanning?
Dakota
Fanning. I like Dakota Fanning as Coraline. I think she did a really good job, and I like Coraline as a character. I liked that she was like a typical teenager, like just she was bored and her parents weren't paying attention to her, so she wanted to explore, and I just thought all of that was like really fun and like cute to watch, because like when she's looking around the house and she like turns off the power to her dad's study and then he like freaks out. I thought that was really funny.
Just walks away like
Yeah,
had
she's
nothing
just like,
to do with it.
yeah. So yeah, I think they like handled her character really well, and then built her up by the end, like when she comes around and has to like face these demons of hers. I think it worked really well, and I was really like satisfied with the ending. It gave me like a lot of BioShock vibes for some reason, and I think it's just like the creepy things that are happening but not explained, like when you're walking around in BioShock, like you'll hear things or like music will play and it's like very ominous, but it's never really like overstated. It's just sort of there. Every time she like encounters something and then re-encounters it later, there's something different about it, and it's very off, and like she doesn't say, whoa, what happened to you? Like something's different, and they don't really explain it, and that's what I liked about it. Like her friend, who by the end she just finds like his clothes like hanging and they're like floating and they're like he's nowhere to be seen. It's like, god damn, she killed him. And it's like, that's crazy.
But they don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, they don't
She
need to
just goes,
say anything.
"Aw."
And then she screams. She's angry about it, like she's pissed off, and yeah, I just like that because she wasn't like, she killed him. She sees it and you're like, oh my god, and then she reacts to it, and then she continues on. And that was the other thing that reminded me of BioShock, because BioShock, is because she has like these tasks that she has to perform in order to leave without the mom eating her or whatever she does with them.
And I thought that it... Should I give what I liked about it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Normally I hate stop motion. Like all those Christmas movies and like Nightmare Before Christmas, creepy. I hate it. But I loved it in this movie, and I think it's just so beautiful. Like the use of color, and also the use of like different types of editing and like movie magic to create like the fog and the web at the end, and her like walking through the end of her like the other mother's world that she created, and I just thought it was really creative.
And then the like juxtaposition of when she first goes down there until the end when she goes down there the last time was really good and really interesting, and I really loved it.
You didn't dislike anything about it?
Oh, dislikes? I don't know, because so it was kind of convenient that certain things happened. The like actress ladies just having that like thing that she can see the dead with, bad things with, like they couldn't decide on what she could see with it. So that was just sort of like oh gee, like of course they just have that. But then they also found a clever way to like take it from her so she couldn't use it. Do you have anything you didn't like?
I can't think of anything I didn't like, but I thought of something else that I did like, which is the timelessness of it, because it's not really set in a certain time period. Like there aren't really any cell phones, but her dad does work on a computer, even though it's like an older computer.
Yeah, and I think that always helps with horror movies because there's nothing to like ground you. You're just sort of like in whatever world is going on. Like It Follows is like that, where there's like futuristic things but also old things. Like their TV set is like really old, but then she's reading on like a show. Anyway, that's a completely different movie.
It's spooky, you could watch it anytime, but it's really good for the Halloween season.
Scary or not? Is it scary? Yeah, I definitely think it would be scary if you were a kid. There's some really freaky shit going on with the parents and the like alternate dimension.
It's funny because while we were watching it, our roommates kept walking in and they'd be like, "This movie scared the shit out of me." And each person was like, "I can't watch this."
Let's give it our rating. I think I would give it... Do I want to give it an absolute scream?
I want to give it an absolute scream because I think it is a fantastic movie, and it's not necessarily like a Halloween movie. I still think it's a great movie for this season.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it an absolute scream too. It's very simple, but there are so many creative kind of world building things that they did but also didn't need to explain that it just really interested me and really hit my creepy sensibilities. Next is... Ba-na-na-na.